my social black belt, Aaliyah. I'm going to close the door because I can hear myself echoing. And I'll get it. Let me see if that's better. Oh, that's better. Okay. So I have Aaliyah here, my social media black belt. And I have Tiffany, who is our lovely assistant. And she's the one that started and set up all these lovely classes. So it's been fun. So let me see. Let me go to the next one. And okay, so we're going to discuss search engine optimization, which is also referred to as just optimization, which is also referred to as SEO. Okay. SEO are the words that Google uses when they are going through your website. So I still hear myself echoing. Let me close the door. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. That's better. There's nothing like worse than hearing your own voice when you're talking. Okay, so when you build a beautiful website, you have beautiful pictures, you work on your call to action, you work on the right images and the right pieces you want to sell, but Google doesn't necessarily look at the website the way you do. Google picks it apart. And there's a front-facing part of your website that the rest of us normal people see. And there's a back-facing part of your website. And that back-facing part of your website is what Google uses for your target, to bring you up in the search engines and to help you compete with your competition, okay? And that's how it helps grow your business, because it puts you higher up there. And we're also going to talk to you about how do you pick target words. So the internet is ever more important now because of COVID, which I don't like that word. I can't wait till I don't have to say that anymore. Or is it the COVID? I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. Because people aren't going out. They haven't used phone books in years, and they're not going out anymore. No one's walking around and visiting and sharing, and referrals tend to be down. So everything is on the phone. Last year, 20% of all searches were done mobilely or on voice, and 56% were done on your phones, on your tablets, on your devices, which means Google is really kind of running all of this stuff. So it's very, very important. So what is search engine optimization? So search engine optimization are your keywords and phrases. So let's, for instance, take a look and say, give me an option. What are you talking about? New website for my company. Who designs logos? When you develop your keywords and your phrases, you have to consider how your people refer to your projects. So let me use the example of air conditioning. So when you do an air conditioning company, so air conditioning is usually air conditioning and heating, right? So to the air conditioning people, it's HVAC, HVAC. My air conditioner stops working, I'm not typing in HVAC, because to me that's commercial. So I'm typing in fix my air conditioner, or I'm typing in new AC. So
my house is hot.
My house is hot. Yes, there's another one. Why is my house hot? How do I change my filters? Where are my filters? How do I know what size my filters are? These are the things that people are going to put in search engines. So we have to be sure that we use key phrases and keywords that the common man uses. Okay, so that presents a problem for us when we're using SEO as a keyword, or search engine optimization, or just optimization, which that's another thing. So search engine optimization, if you've put in search engine optimization, you've probably covered the word optimization. Unless you have a lot of words free, which most people don't, you don't need to put in search engine optimization as a keyword phrase and then optimization as a keyword, because you've got it in the other one, okay?
So each word counts as its own thing.
Right. So how does SEO help grow your business? Search engine helps find your website, drives your customers to, increases sales. So it's as simple as that. If you're on the front page, people are going to click on you. If you're on 2, 3, or 4, they're not necessarily going to find you because we don't go that deep. We really, unless we're looking for someone specific, we are simply going to the front page, looking at their reviews, looking that they're there, and giving them a call.
So the better your SEO is, the higher ranking you're going to be in the searches on Google and Bing.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Google and Bing, search engines, 20% of all searches were done voice search. So I asked the question, all right, Google is of course in charge of voice, aren't they? So if I'm high-end Google, I should be in voice. No. Voice searches are controlled because you got Alexa, you've got Alexa, Siri, and Google. I know because Google doesn't have a name, does it?
No, it's Hey Google.
Right, Hey Google. So Google probably uses Google, but Siri and Alexa use Yelp and Bing. So having a profile on Google is wonderful, but also having a profile on Bing and Yelp. So you ask, why do they do that? Well, they do that because the big dogs don't like to play with the big dogs. You know, they want to be the biggest dog in the pond, and they want to try to compete with Google rather than play nicely with them. So they don't want to bother with that. So if you can answer the questions that your client is looking for on your front page, you will have a better choice of that. The other thing that'll help you with SEO that nobody tells you about is buying different domains. So I'll go back to air conditioning. Hot house, my house is hot. If somebody owns that domain and somebody types that in the search engine, it's going to come up on the front page, possibly at the top, depending upon it, because Google will take their words as they type it and look for things that match it. So they'll look for domain names, then they'll look for content, and then they'll look for type of businesses. So
would it be myhouseshot.com?
Yep. If you buy that and point it, you have a better chance of doing stuff like that. So that's a cheap way to get yourself that. Now here, this is all white hat SEO, okay? The black hat SEO, which is still very common, but Google will ding you for. The black hat SEO is to buy a domain like that and point it at a website that doesn't deal with that content. So people that are nefariously on the internet, stealing people's websites, selling Cialis or something else, will steal your domain or anybody's domain and get people to do that. That's kind of called clickbait because they're getting things to the site that doesn't belong. But as long as you are buying a domain where the content is reinforced on the front page and reinforced on the back, you're okay. All right, and it's a cheap way to help you out. So while we're here.
And domains are only, what, $10 each a year?
It depends on who you buy them from, but yes, they can be as low as $10. You can get a service to buy them for you, and it could be a little bit more, and they can manage it, but as long as you buy it and renew it, you're good. I keep talking about the back end of the website. I'm guessing I haven't explained that yet. So let me explain the back end of the website. So when you put your website together, the back end is within Yoast or within WordPress, there's a plugin called Yoast. Within Joomla, there's a plugin that's already part of Joomla, and it's your pages. And I don't know what some of the other ones are. I don't know Wix and sort of stuff like that. That's
Wix has something like that too. It's on every single page. You can find it. It'll say SEO wizard or something like that when you're creating your your pages.
And I think that's where they get to start charging for stuff. That's how Wix gets you to start charging.
Yeah, and you can't migrate your
No.
website to a different location either. It has to stay with Wix because you created it in Wix.
It's their platform, it's their baby, it's everything belongs to them.
Mm-hmm.
So should you decide to move, not going to happen.
Yep. You have to do your SEO all over again.
Same thing with GoDaddy. If you build it on a GoDaddy platform and use their proprietary software, it's not going anywhere. If you build your website with a service like us, should you decide to leave, which we hope you never do, you can pack up your website and take it with you. So in the back end, there's a plugin, and the plugin will ask you for titles, tags, and keywords. And that's what I'm talking about the back end. The front end of the site, when you're optimizing, are your keywords.
The text on your page.
Right, and naming your pictures, and naming your graphics. So one thing about SEO, order matters. So on your website, there are what's called H1 tags. On each page, you should have one H1, two H2s, three H3s, 4, 5, and so on. When you tell them with your H1, that is the most important message you have for your clients. So in other words, Penguin Suits Advertising Agency for small businesses. Advertising agency for small businesses. That is my biggest piece. My next thing to do is designing websites. My next thing to do is logos. And I put them on my website designed by how we make the most money and how clients are driven to us. These are the reasons we get clients and retain them to do those services. So if you're building the same thing, you need to consider what it is. So the top line of your website shouldn't be your phone number. It shouldn't necessarily be your name. It should contain the top service that you do, because to Google, that is their main drive to you. That is what they're going to send you.
And would that be a phrase, or would that be just one word keyword?
I think the H1 tag should be a phrase. It should be a sentence, and it should give them, Penguin Suits Advertising Agency for small businesses. That could be a great H1 tag.
And H stands for header.
Header. Sorry. Yeah. And if that's my key phrase, that's my keyword. How did I pick that keyword? How did I pick that key phrase? Because I looked at the way my business grows, where my business gets the most revenue, and what keeps my business going. So I build it based on that and what my clients call us. So a few years ago, my tagline is your marketing department. That's kind of gone a different way. People do marketing when they do telemarketing, this. So I've kind of switched over to advertising agency, because I know that the public really isn't putting that in anymore. They're putting in advertising agency. And by putting in advertising agency, I also cover ad agency, because it's all there. So building your website, putting the SEO, putting these pieces together requires a lot of research. It's not something you can do willy-nilly. It's not something you should change willy-nilly. It's something you should get set up, you should track, and you should make discerning changes. Because the first time you set it up, you may not end up where you want to be. You need to Google yourself and look and see where you show up. If you're not showing up for those keywords, you're not showing up in the places you want to be, or if you're showing up in a search engine and I'm an advertising agency and everybody around me is a land developer, I'm doing something wrong, such as website development. Website development can put me in a place with land developers. So I have to be careful with website development versus website design versus new website for my business. because I have to decide where I want to be and where people are finding me. So as you change your keywords, as you do those things, check where you are. Right, Aaliyah?
But if you change your headers too often, that could be a problem with Google, because it takes a while for Google to find you and determine whether you're a trustworthy site or an authority in your area.
So it's important to do the research, put it all together before you put it up. Changing, God willing, if you're doing this right, you shouldn't have to change them completely. Tweaking is not bad, like going from website developer to website design to new business website. I'm still using the website piece. I'm still putting it together that way. So that can help. That's not so bad. You're not changing it from that to going to go-go dancers. Okay, we're gonna sell go-go dancers now. Okay, so let me go to the next one. Any questions? All right. So.
Oh, we skipped a couple. Hang on.
Did I?
You should be on 6, I think.
6.
Yeah, there we go.
Sorry. All right. Choosing your target words. What are words and phrases? Search for customers, and where are they located? So these are the ones that are located in the text on your website. They are located within your H1 tags. They are located on the tags for your pictures. They're located basically everywhere. You would use, there are free sources online that you can put words into and they'll generate phrases for you. There are, well, I was going to say, so you don't know, let's go back a step. You don't know what your target words are. But let's say you know who your competition is. I want to compete with company A. And this is saying that company A is, sidebar. Company A is in the position you want to be in. You want to remember that they're in that. They want to find someone that's high in the words you want to be, that you're typing in. So you want to go and look at their site, and with your keywords that you've already started with, you're going to compare and you're going to see.
So they're going to be the top search result with that phrase that you used.
That's right.
Okay.
Now, the other thing is you should put them in Google Trends. You should put them in Google yourself and find out if your average customer is actually putting in HVAC, because maybe my husband puts in HVAC. But the other thing is, okay, so men put in HVAC, women put in AC. Now, the other question is, who buys or gets air conditioners serviced more? And the answer to that would be women. So since it's women, my suggestion would be don't use HVAC. Let's use AC. So these are the things you have to consider. Advertising agencies like us can help you get to these pieces, but it is a process of putting these things together. Okay, anything else, Aaliyah?
And that it changes too.
Yeah.
It's not something that's static, that you can keep the same all the time. You have to update it. It's kind of like a living document.
Websites are very flexible for a reason, because people are very fickle. And one day they're typing in HVAC, the next day they're typing in HC. So you need to stay up on what's happening. You need to stay up on what people are using. You need to watch where you're falling in the search engines, and you need to change your keywords, change your tags, change the way you write your name. And the other part about that, forever Google is keeping me in job security. They are constantly changing the rules. Facebook is changing the rules. Poor Aaliyah had to learn the ads for Facebook because they decided to change the entire ad setting on them, and we just pulled
overnight.
It up. Yes, we pulled it up one day and said, "Ooh, this is not what we saw yesterday." So yes, and they don't give. And someone said to me, "Why don't they tell us?" So when you are tagging a business on Facebook, for instance, you used to be able to type in penguin suits, and you could tag the business. You can't do that anymore. Overnight, they changed it to the @ sign, and the name of the business. So if you type the @ sign, you can type, and not necessarily the name of the business, you have to type in what the business has for their tag on Facebook.
Yeah, it's their username. And you have to create a username first.
So yet one more fun thing to do that. But I had a client call me up, I can't take my business, where's my Facebook page? And of course I'm going, what? So finding her Facebook page, and I'm going about it, and Aaliyah and I are looking into it, and it's like, oh, you need an @ sign now. Okay, and why didn't they tell me? There was probably a blog about it somewhere that somebody missed, but
Insider information. Same with Google. Yeah. They'll change stuff overnight and you won't necessarily know.
And they'll swear to you that it was always that way.
Yeah, that's true.
That's another fun one. So where are you located? So the other part about your words and phrases is you want to determine your area. So I will sure do a website for somebody in New York, but that's not my bread and butter. That's not where I do it. I do it in South Central Texas, but I don't write South Central Texas. I use things like Hill Country. I use Bandera. I use Bernie. I use San Antonio. Because when you are looking for something near you, most of the time, Google is going to give you something in your area first. So if my
counties, cities, neighborhoods, all of that.
So the thing is, if you put in advertising agencies, you are now competing with all the advertising agencies in the world. And I don't know about you, but that's not where I want to be. Not that big, and it's not going to happen. So you need to make sure that you have location central words on your website. All right, are we at the next one, Leah?
Yes.
Okay.
Number 7.
Okay. 7. Okay. What are backlinks? How do I manage them? Okay. On here, I've given you 2 backlink checkers, 2 ways to look at your backlinks. So the first one is just a tool. It's free for a little bit and then they'll charge you. The other one is assuming that your website has Google Analytics installed, which, by the way, is a great tool to have installed with your SEO. It will help track it. It will help tell you where they're clicking on and how they're getting to you. So, if they're coming from a porn site, you got a problem. If you, don't have a Pinterest account and all your links are coming from Pinterest, I suggest you go check out Pinterest and see what's going on with your name out there. The backlink checker will help you determine how many links you have. The more links you have, the better you are. There are direct links, there are indirect links, there are bad links, there are links that are better to have than others. And
if someone writes an article about your business and they want to link to your website, that would be considered a backlink.
We do people's websites, so our website, our domain is on the bottom. That's another backlink. You belong to LinkedIn and you put your website in there. That's a backlink. Okay, and then there are okay. But any questions on backlinks? How to get them? How to get them is joining services, belonging to clubs, writing blog articles for other people, writing blog articles for yourself.
And that's important because you want to have a lot of places linking to you, because then Google believes that you're an authority on the subject that you're in the business of. So it will trust you more, which means that your ranking will go up in the search engine. However, if it's in a bad way, like you were talking about, maybe you're not going to be associated with things that you should be.
Okay, so I'll go to the next slide. So that first link I gave you, this is what, if you put it in there, this is what they'll give you, okay? So referring domains are things like the domains that we have built. That's like LinkedIn, that's like Facebook. Those are referring domains. Backlinks are places that we have been linked in articles, where we have been linked in posts, where we have been linked by other people, Yelp, different places like that. So this service will give you, if you see the top here, let me see if it will help. So it'll top 100 backlinks. You can click the next tab, top 5 anchors, top 5 pages, and your status, your 20 status code with Google. So what that is that I put up a blog in 2018 about SEO, and Eileen bookmarked it. So today she comes back to it, but I've deleted that blog. So if you don't have the right codes in there, like the 200 status code, you will go say this page doesn't exist. If you have that code in your website, what it'll do is it'll take you to the front page of our website. That link doesn't exist, but we don't lose the lead, we don't lose the person, because they're just coming back to our site anyway. So she'll go, oh, maybe I had it wrong, I'll go to their blog and look it up. That's what you're pushing people to do. So you can go down this list as you're going. You see Border Patrol Museum is the first one. So they're a direct link, direct referral. We're on their URL. This is how many domains are referring them, and that's how much, that's their traffic. This is per month. So we're looking and saying, okay, they're a very good referral traffic for us, and they're a very good source. So, and we'll go down and we'll look at each one of these. Whoops, we'll go down and we'll look at each one of these, and we'll determine whether we want to be there. So I'm going down and I'm saying, oh, I don't like Learning Foundations. I don't want to work with them. I don't want to be on their site. Hi, Sophia. That's a bad link for me. You can go to Google and you can submit it and tell them that you want to disavow this link, because what it's doing is it's bringing you negative traffic.
So if you look at slide 7 again, that second link that we showed you, that is the one for disavowing.
Oh, there you go. Yep, that's a disavow tool. And because Google, but you know, they hide these things. They hide these things. You can have a Google account. You can have a Google Analytics in there. And then, oh yeah, did you open your webmaster account? Did you submit your website to Google? Did you make sure they have your links? No. Well, Webmasters is yet another tool that you need to do, yet more tags that go in the back of your website. And these tags will allow Google to crawl your site. It'll allow you to tell you some of the backlinks. It'll allow you to disavow backlinks. It'll let you know if Google has the right. So now we're going to get into something else. The other part about SEO is schema tags. Schema tags are a profile basically that you build with Google that should mirror your SEO in the back end of your site. So the other thing you have to remember is if you decide all of a sudden that we're going to sell go-go boots, I need to change it on my site. I need to change it in my tags. I also need to change it in my webmaster profile. Google could get there eventually, but remember they have trillions of websites and they may not catch up with you, and you may lose valuable traffic in the meantime. But if you change your stuff, all 3 pieces, submit it to Google and push it to them, they'll be forced to do these things. Sooner or later, they would have gotten rid of that bad backlink to your site too, by the way. But again, by checking your stuff once a month, by looking at these things, you can get rid of it faster. By getting rid of it faster, it rises your ranking in the search engines, gives you a better place for your clients to find you, which gets you more leads. I know, it's a ladder, right? It's this whole pyramid thing. And,
yeah, you want to be climbing up that ladder.
And sometimes you go up a little bit, and sometimes you come down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but trending upward, just like COVID is trending downward, we want to trend upward. But it is a process. And there are some wonderful free tools that you can use. And, you know, they will also try to charge you. Try to follow along and keep up with it. But So these are the things we do for our clients when we do SEO. We initially do these things, and then monthly for each client, we are checking on all of these pieces to make sure
it is time consuming.
Oh yeah, just a smidge.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that I've had my domain since 1992. I've had my first website in 1993. And we have progressively moved up, progressively done these things. Now, I think it was about 2001. We did a very graphic heavy website. It was stunning. I keep the pictures of it because I love it. Problem that a website, because at that point, I didn't fully understand SEO. So what happened in the 6 to 8 months that my website was up, I dropped like a rock. Because while the website was beautiful, there weren't any words on the site. There weren't any back-end words. There weren't any tag words. So I learned the hard way how to fix these things. So I tell you this from a point of a professional. I tell you this from a point of a business owner, that this stuff truly makes a difference.
And that's something to consider when you're building a website, is not to be too image heavy and rely on images, especially if they're images of text. You want to have that text actually in your website, because Google can't find it if it's an image.
If it's an image, Google sees this.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they see. So that's why, while that website was beautiful and lovely, it was a bad time. So since then, I have built websites, content, pushed it forward. We are in the process of building a new website. Our website currently has great SEO, great ranking, great places. So I am very hesitant to change my site, but we will do it. We will follow the rules and we will update it. And that's a good thing to do, because people's ideas change and they like to see fresh content and new things. And besides that, the
rank high either.
Well, and the PHP changes, and then it doesn't talk to the plugins, and then it doesn't talk to the host, and you got all kinds of problems. Your website will start throwing errors, which we can't have that.
Be vulnerable to hacking.
So there are many free sources out there to help you look for backlinks, to help you look at your website, to help you look at part of your SEO. Most of these sites, you've got some for SEO and backlinks and how to put analytics into your site. There's, she put Analytics Academy, which is, you could take the ever snoring classes that we take and educate yourself.
They're super fun.
Oh yes, we love them. Those are our fun days. But it's even more fun when we have to find out that we need to take a class because they changed it and they didn't tell us.
Every year.
Yeah. One of the fun websites that we've got up here is Answer the Public. And it's a weird website. You pull it up, it's usually has some guy's face on it, but it helps you with trends. And you can put in a keyword or a phrase, and what it does is it maps it out for you. It puts you in the middle with that phrase, and then it gives you all the contact pieces that go with it. The problem with it is it gives you 100 to 200, and now you're again faced with an issue of, how am I building my keywords? How am I building my phrases? But it's not a bad thing to look at, but it's overwhelming. And also, I think if you do like more than 2 a day, 3 a day, it'll start charging you. It'll want to charge you. So limit to what you're going to do. It's not a bad tool to kind of back up what you're using. So, and we use it.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to see what people are talking about.
Yeah, and I love it. I use it all the time. So there's a couple other ones down here. The keyword shitter.
You're never going to forget that name.
Nope. And the domain sheeter. Domains sheeter.
Which is the same company, but different name.
So keyword shitter, you can put in websites for small businesses, and it will give you hundreds of variations on that word and what you could possibly use. So yet more content, more information to confuse you or to possibly help you or to use for research, and then understand that that information could change in a week.
Mm-hmm.
And again, after a certain amount of time, they'll want to charge you. And the domain sheeter will also help you find different domain names, which we talked about in the beginning, to complement the domain you have.
Analytics Academy is always going to be free.
Regarding domains, never give up a domain that you have that points to your website, because I'm betting you somebody's using it and they're only $10.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get new products, if you want to focus on an area, if you want to focus on a location, not a bad thing to invest in. And they can help you put together domain names that'll do it. I'm going to go up a little bit. Bing Tool Webmaster, Webmaster Yanix, Open Web Analytics. Those are all tools that will allow you to analyze your website and help you determine if you've done your keywords properly. They'll help you determine what keywords you can use. And again, they're free for a time, and then they start charging. And
that's kind of why we like to use the analytics from Google, because it's free always, and it gives you all the information that you could possibly need, but you have to have that code in your website first.
Yeah. And again, that is a free code. It works with Google, which is never a bad thing. It's Google's tools, done by Google for Google. Mm-hmm. And the webmaster tools and the SEO tools. There are keyword searches, all done by Google. Sophia has her hand up. Let me see. What's up, Sophia? What do you got? What do I do this? Do I?
Oh, I was clapping.
Oh, you're clapping. Hi, thank you. It's good to hear your voice.
Yes, nice to hear you too.
So these are, tell the babies I said hello.
I will. Thank you so much for the presentation.
Oh, you're welcome. So these are keywords. These are tools that we use, things that we like, and can be very helpful to you. I mean, if you get confused, you know we're there. We always answer your questions and sit down and visit with you. And I know it's overwhelming sometimes to figure out, because the first thing I would do if I were you is I'm going to go try all these tools. And then I'm going to have all this information. And then I'm going to go, oh my God, it's all wrong on my website. Okay, first of all, it's probably not all wrong. There are probably changes you can make. There are subtle changes. There are big changes. There are swifts. With COVID, with every threat, there is an opportunity. The key thing for all of us right now is how flexible are you and how can you adjust? Some of us are lucky. Sophia's already been doing at-home learning. She's still be doing online classes. So people like that have a bit of a leg up. And enhancing that, broadening your audience and broadening your topics and trying to reach them in different methods. The keywords can help you because it can help you with the title of your speech. It can help you with the questions that you put out there, the posts that you use, all the information you get. What's more? There's more. What does more say? All the information you get is not just for your website. All of this stuff is also for your social media.
Yes, it is very helpful for that. That's what hashtags are basically. They're SEO, but for social media.
And Google likes to see that the back end of your website, and we all know what back end of our website means now, the front end of your website, your social media, your blogs, everything that you work with, all of those things have the same content. And the more you have websites for small businesses over and over and over burned into Google, they see you as the expert. Now, that's not to say that every single post has to be that way. You should have fun posts. You should have posts talking about your clients, talking about fun things, talking about trending. But there should always be one about websites. Yes, Miss Aaliyah? Yes, Miss
As long as you are active and consistent with being active.
So that's the other piece. I don't have social media. Where do I get started? Don't go and open every single account.
No.
Open one, do it well, gain followers, feel confident, make it work for you, and then add the next one. Don't give up the first one, add the next one. So the other thing, when you're talking about target words, target audience, target keyword, is that when you're developing your information and you're looking at your target audience, that is also going to dictate how you write what you write, where you put it. So if you're talking to people my age, Facebook, great place to be. You want the millennials? Aaliyah, where should they go?
Instagram.
Instagram. If you don't understand Instagram, try it, look at it, give us a call, we'll help you visit with it. But
it's like a visual Facebook.
Yeah, in that case, all they do are pictures with hashtags. So, or videos, or if you're that savvy and you want to try TikTok, which I listen to it, but it's so loud.
Yes, and you cannot make it stop.
No, I turn it on and my phone blasts. I'm like, I usually look at my social media when I'm sitting in a line somewhere, standing somewhere. I don't want anybody to know what I'm doing. So,
no.
and I don't put my headphones in. I guess young people will walk around with their headphones in on their phone. So that's how they can do it. So
yes.
You want to reach them, you got to be woke. You got to be on their social media. And I don't know, did Walmart buy TikTok yet? Did they?
I don't think so, not yet.
Not yet, but I think Microsoft dropped out. And it's Walmart now.
Yep.
Which I thought the two of them were very interesting to do it together, didn't you?
Yeah, and I mean, I still haven't figured out a good way to determine whether it is good for advertising or not. And I don't think anybody else has either. And that's why they're having trouble purchasing TikTok, because they can't see how it's going to benefit them.
Also, the Chinese government said they had to approve if TikTok got sold. That was the last thing.
Mm-hmm.
So. There you go. So yeah, there's so many hands in that pot. And, if you want to try it. Oh, and Hulu just released a way to advertise on Hulu with a much lower budget. So I've got, what is the more on the corner here, guys? What does that mean? Chat.
More?
Chat. I have chat. Sophia.
Oh, yeah, it's just
to be here for the presentation for a company. I recommended her to call you. Will I upload it somewhere? Yes. Yes.
Where would it be uploaded?
Yes. Aaliyah will upload it. Right? Yes, Aaliyah will upload it. And Sophia, we need to talk because Hulu has just given the ability for advertising agencies to buy advertising on there for $500 a month. And $500 a month on Hulu, with the amount of people my age and younger unplugging, that is amazing. So I just got the piece of information this morning in my email. I want to explore it, but I think, because I mean, I sit on, my life is on Hulu now. And up until they released this for small businesses, you had to invest $10,000 a month.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's why all you see on there is Farmers Insurance, or Microsoft stuff, or Starbucks, because who has $10,000 a month to throw into this?
That's big business.
$500, we can dabble. I can dabble for $500.
Yep.
So we're going to play with that, but that's going to be very, very cool. But yes, we'll upload this. And if your friend wants to give me a call, I'd be more than happy to visit with her.